Hello and welcome to this ScanPro audio video. Joining me in the studio today is David Ahlund from Roland, and you've brought along a lovely little piece of analog goodness, haven't you?
Yes. Hi Tom, yeah, it's really good to be back. Yeah, and today I have with me the SE-02. So this is actually our first fully analog boutique synth. And it's done in partnership with Studio Electronics, and that's hence the name, you know, SE-02. And it's the first in what we call the Boutique Designer series. So fully analog and lots of interesting sort of little out-of-the-box features inside as well.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, the layout might be familiar to people who are used to analog synths.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of little things under the hood here that obviously just give it a certain identity of its own. To start with, the patch memories.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We have 512 patch memories divided to 4
We all love analog synths, but
yeah.
trying to recreate something off the patch cards at the end of the day,
yeah.
it isn't the most pleasurable thing I've ever done in my life.
And then you come back the day after and the patch sounds completely different.
So,
yeah.
you know, I'm all for analog with digital memories.
Yeah.
First thing is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut up now and I'm going to let David run through, and I'm going to pop back later on with any kind of strangeness that might have come into my head by then.
Yeah, okay, cool. Sounds good to me.
So,
okay, cheers.
Over to David.
Right, so the SE-02, despite its little size, is a very, very powerful analog synth, and also with a lot of interesting features. And also it's actually really dynamic, and I want to show you that now by just playing this single oscillator sound. And as you can hear already possibly, is that we actually have velocity sensitive filtering for a start. We can also control the filter with the modulation wheel. So that means filter modulation or just a plain filter setting. So you can straight change the filter or have a modulation depth set to the mod wheel. And also we have 3 oscillators here, and they're all detunable. So we can just put a couple more up. We also have a delay effect unit. Which you can set the feedback really high, and you can also get some kind of interesting sort of tape delay effects if you turn up, if you change the time while you're adjusting the sound. So let's have a listen to some of the sounds. We'll start with the simple bass sound. And we can go to a more kind of vintage, sort of 80s funk type vibe. And really nice for leads as well. So I have a kind of classic but sort of slightly noisy lead as well. And as you can hear again, I'm in control of the modulation and filtering at the same time with the modulation wheel. Or we can go even more classic, like sort of 70s type lead. Or just a straight up detuned solid. But we do have some other interesting modulation features as well. So for instance, we have a cross-modeling section here with 3 types of cross-modeling, and also we have Oscillator Sync. So what this means is I can send Oscillator 2 and sync it with Oscillator 1, and also I can control this with the envelope here. So if we set a higher envelope depth here, or go down, okay, so let's have a listen to the different types of cross-modeling. So first of all, we have Oscillator 2 modulating the filter, and it can sound a little bit like this. So this is on 0. and this is on maximum. And everywhere in between. So it's basically a really fast LFO for the filter. And we can also send oscillator 3 to oscillator 2. Which creates a more detune effect, or you can also control the pulse width of modulation 1 and 2 with oscillator 3. So fully up and 0. Now of course you can combine all these and get some interesting effects. So that's a cross modeling, and also we have something called the feedback, but the feedback is essentially just a type of distortion. So we'll turn that all the way down, and I'll play the same thing again, and we'll gradually turn up the feedback, and you can hear what it does to the sound. And of course, this is a nice feature to use together with the filter as well. Or even just an LFO depth here. So that's the feedback function. Okay, now let's have a look at the sequencer of the SE-02. So the sequencer in here can do a lot of cool stuff, like different playback directions and parameter changes and so on. So let's have a listen. First of all, I'll play back a simple pattern like this. Play with the filter a little bit. So we have the sequence here, it's a full 16 steps. I can easily, of course, turn the different steps on and off like this. And I can put new steps in, either by using this keyboard or the external one over here. So I'll just use the external one. Okay, so now we have our sequence going there. Let's do some cool stuff, like parameter changes. So I can go to any step and put in any parameter value I want. So I'm gonna change the filter here. Turn that down and then up. Maybe down again. Now you can hear the filter moving here. We can also do other stuff, like mess about with the delay time, for instance. So we have a really short delay time right now, but I can turn it up and down in the parameter changes here. So I'm gonna turn the delay up and down. And now you can hear a little delay glitch in the automation. What else can we do? We can change the octaves. So now we have all kinds of things happening here in the sequence. But we can have some more fun actually. If we just go to the performance mode, we can change the first and last step. We can also change the playback direction. So now I'm going to play all of this backwards. But I can also play it back and forth, like a pendulum, and then back again. And of course, as usual, my favorite is the random mode. So now it will be jumping around between the different steps completely randomly. So essentially no bar will sound the same. You can also restrict this by, as I said before, choosing the first and last step. So if I want the first step to be number 5 and the last step to be number 7, it will restrict itself to those 3 notes, but still in a random order. Oh, we can go first is 2 and last is 14. So that's the sequencer of the SE-02. It's a lot of fun, and also you can actually trig this from outside by using the gate or trigger input here. So you can use any gate signal from outside and trig this sequencer step by step just by single hits. So check that out as well.
Okay, so thanks a lot for that overview there, David. Now, we've got this hooked up in a slightly non-conventional way here, haven't we? Because we've got the Roland MX-1 mixer.
Yeah.
And in fact, This is slightly more closer related to the Aira line, isn't it, in its connectivity than the previous boutiques?
Yeah, well, in a sense, I mean, we do have Aira Link. The other boutiques have Aira Link as well.
Yeah.
Although the difference here is that this one runs on a separate power supply, which means you can connect it to any of the USB connections here. So now this is, the audio here is connected simply by a micro USB cable into the MX-1.
So obviously we're going into the MX-1, but this has got the interface built in as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does have a built-in audio interface, so you can easily record it into Ableton or Logic or something like that, just via your micro USB again. Or you can also send and receive MIDI to it.
Well, this is it. And a lot of us who are running Macs can obviously set these up as aggregate devices and have multiple ones connected all together, which is great fun. I've got the full little set of the originals, so I'm really looking forward to adding something truly analog in via the same, control method and getting the audio back in pristine, pristine quality.
That's perfect. Yeah.
One of the other things here, there's quite a lot of connectivity here because you've got CV in and out on it.
Yeah, so this is a good friend to the modular world, so to speak. So we have a CV and gate input, as well as a trigger input for the sequencer, like I explained earlier. But also there's a CV input for the filter as well. So if you have like a modular LFO or something, you can send that into the filter.
It's always the filter that you want to hook up and get the control over.
Yeah. And also all the knobs, they send and receive CC messages as well, so you can control them from external controllers or the other way around as well.
This is it. It's that whole digital analog hybrid thing. It's like people want the control. People want to be able to save the settings and manipulate them from the DAW.
Yeah.
But still retaining that, true analog.
Yeah, the raw analog
tone to it. I'm mightily impressed. I think I love the sequencer changes and stuff.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to play with.
Yeah, totally. So many times you have a little pattern and it's like, I want a variation on this, but being able to do that flipping on it, I can suddenly think of, that's just great.
Yeah, and if you're stuck in the same old patterns you always are, then you can just like, okay, well, if I have this bass line, I'll just play it backwards, see what happens. Sometimes it could be really cool.
Well, that's it. I'll stick it on random and just leave the sequence of recording and see what genius it comes
I've done that a few times myself,
Well, this is it. To give you inspiration, it's those times it's not making the machine think for itself, but it's just, here's the stuff you've done. I'm just going to chuck all this out.
Yeah.
And often there's just those two notes that work together. You've got something uniquely awesome with it.
Yeah.
It fits with the normal keyboard as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it works in exactly the same way as the previous boutique synths.
Yeah, absolutely. So this hooks up to the K25 keyboard that we have here. It also disconnects. You can put it in the DK01 dock, which is basically, just a simple metal chassis for the boutiques. So you can use it as a module, or you could just use it by itself as well. So either way.
Fantastic. Well, we're looking forward very much to getting our hands on these and getting it into the studio, which I think is going to be its real forte.
Yeah.
As soon as we get it in and we get it on with some other instruments and build up some proper tracks with it.
Yep.
So thank you very much for coming in and showing us this today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to look out for the code word. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.